So as we take a look, I got chapter 2.5. Real easy stuff for you guys. We're just solving formulas. At least it should be easier for you. Okay, so solve equations for a given variable. So we're going to solve for x, or we're going to solve for r, or we're going to solve for t, or something like that. And then write and solve application problems. Okay, so I gave you guys a nice list of all these different formulas you could see. We should know area of a rectangle. It says length times width. Okay, if you guys can't see these, let me know. I can zoom in a little bit more. I've got interest. Simple interest is PRT. Principal is what you're investing. Rate as a decimal, and time. Okay. Here we have perimeter of a triangle, just adding your three sides up. We add up the distance around an object. Distance, if I'm traveling, we take the speed we're going, or a rate, and then times our time. So if I'm going 50 miles an hour for 2 hours, 50 times 2, I'd traveled 100 miles. So distance equals rate times time. Volume of a rectangular solid is just length times width times height. And then this one's kind of fun. If you ever convert Fahrenheit to Celsius, or Celsius into Fahrenheit, just take 9/5 times Celsius and add 32 to it. It's actually linear, which is kind of neat. All right, let's take this into action here. So I just have a few examples we're going to walk through. Again, those formulas are there. We can always get those back if we need them. So this one I have volume. I have volume equals length times width times height. And what they're asking us to do is to get this W by itself. Okay, so I like highlighting that guy that we want to get by itself. I want to get W by itself. Okay, well, it's length times width times height, or L times W times H. What's the opposite of multiplication? What's the opposite of times? Divide. Division, divide. So we're going to divide over L and H. So I'm going to divide over L and H. And if you do it to one side, you guys got to do it to the other side. So now we get V over L. That's my fancy L, guys. And H, and that equals W. I would prefer the other way around. So W equals volume divided by your length and your width. Or H. That's an H, guys. So volume, that's a volume equals L over H, your height. And that's it. That's all we're doing. We're trying to isolate the variable that they've given us. That means we have to use addition, subtraction, multiplication, division to get that all by itself. Okay. Let's try it again. I got another equation. I've got 4y minus 5x equals 9. So 4y minus 5x equals 9. We want to get y by itself. Let me zoom in here so you can see it nice and big. Suggestions. How do we get this y by itself? 4y minus 5x equals 9. How do we get that y all by itself? Throw out some ideas. Awesome. Just add that 5x over. You want to add and subtract first. So we're going to add 5x over. So I've got 4y by itself. 5x and negative 5x cancel, and that gives me, I like writing it 5x plus 9 like that. You could do 9 plus 5x, but if you don't know, this is a linear equation. This is something we're going to dive into eventually. And usually we write it so that the x comes first. Okay. All right, I got one more step. How do I get this 4 out of here? And the faster you guys answer, the faster we get this done. What do you guys think? Roxana, Riley, Irene, Hunter, how do we get this 4 out of here? No, this is like 4 times y, right? Yeah, so the opposite of times is division. So I'm going to go ahead and divide over 4. And I usually do it to everything. So if you do it to one term, I do it to all the terms. And then you would get y equals 5 force x and then plus 9 force. Okay. The other option is if you divide that whole side, MyMathLab would also accept 5x plus 9 all over 4. I don't love it like that. Okay, they would accept that. I don't love that. I would prefer this. But MyMathLab should accept that. Okay, I prefer this though. All right, questions on how to get y by itself. That's not so bad. That's easy peasy. You guys done this before. That's when we're going, that's something where you've gone from what we call standard form. This is standard form of equation, or pretty darn close, into what we call slope-intercept form. Okay, so it's just trying to get you ready for that kind of stuff. All right, last one. I've got A equals P plus PRT. So we got A equals P plus PRT. When you see letters written next to each other, that's multiplication. So this T is being multiplied by this P and that R. Okay? So then I ask questions, how can we get this thing started? How do we get rid of some of these other letters? Mr. Gotsch, I thought we were talking about math. All these letters here. What are we doing? Remember, letters are variables, and variables are numbers we don't know the value of. So treat these like numbers. What would you do? And if you ever get stuck, like, let me grab another sheet of paper. If you ever get stuck, get rid of some of these numbers or these letters and just make numbers. So instead of A, you could say, okay, I have 5. Instead of this P, I got 7. And then instead of PRT, I've got 12T. What would you do first here? And then apply it to this. So what would you do first? How do we get this? How would we solve for this T? You would subtract 7 first, right? So we always add or subtract, and we move that over. So I would subtract, in this case, this P first. What's A minus P? I don't know. A minus P. Just leave it the way it is. You can't combine it. And now that equals PRT. Now again, we're trying to get that T by itself, and we have this P and this R multiplied to it. So we undo the multiplication. What's undoing multiplication? Opposite of multiplication, we all know is, or maybe you don't all know. What do we got? Juliana? Hunter? Hunter, what do you got? Hunter, are you even there? I just see white room. Division. All right. There's Hunter. So these guys cancel these guys out. So I end up with the T by itself, and now I've got A minus P all over PR. Oh man, those Prairie Ridge guys. PR. I always thought Prairie Ridge missed the boat. They, I think they opened up in like 2004-ish, something like that. I could be wrong. But man, they could have been the Prairie Ridge Pirates instead of the Prairie Ridge Wolves. And then their mascot could be a pirate and then go, we are PR. Okay, sorry. That was bad. Bad joke. Bad joke. All right, you guys have questions with that one? Guys, I have 2 more I want to do. Just 2 word problems. All right. I'm going to read this one for you. You don't have to write it out. That's why it's nice, though, if you can print off our notes. Let me try to get it nice and big. Okay. Says here, a glacier is a giant mass of rocks and ice that flows downhill like a river. Okay. Portage Glacier in Alaska is about 6 miles, which is about, oh my gosh, 31,600 feet. Okay. So they converted that for you. How nice is that? You don't have to know how many miles, how many feet in a mile, which I think is what, 5,280 if you ask Siri. So they've converted that. We have 31,680 feet long, and it moves 400 feet per year. So every day it just kind of inches a little bit until a whole year passes and it's got 400 feet. Okay? Icebergs are created when the front end of the glacier flows into Portage Lake. How long does it take for the ice at the head, which is the beginning of the glacier, to reach the lake? Okay, so here's the idea. You got this glacier that's going downhill, right? And it only moves 400 feet a year. Okay? Well, it said here that is 31,600 feet long to get down to the river. So they're talking about distance. They're talking about the speed in which this thing's traveling, which is super slow, 400 feet a year. And then time. Okay, they're talking about distance, rate, and time. The distance that it has to travel, total. That's our D. That's 31,680 feet. What are we trying to find? What's the question? How long? What's how long asking? How long? What's how long? Is that R or T? Help me out, people. Jimmy, Taylor, help me out. How long something? How long does it take you to get to Jimmy John's? How long does it take you to go to school in the morning? How long does it take you to answer this question? We are talking about rate. Is my mic on? Can you hear me? Hello?
I can hear you.
Oh, thank you. I was wondering if I was just talking to myself here. How long did that take? Help me out, guys. What variable are we talking about here?
It takes 10 minutes to get to school. Or wait, like 5, right?
Time, right? Minutes, seconds, hours, days. We're talking about time here. And their time is in years. Okay, so how long? We're looking for T. And they told me that the rate per year is 400. Okay, this is my rate per year. Well, now we just have to solve for that T. Well, how do we solve for T? Divide it over. Fantastic. Any questions on why I have my setup the way I do? Can't write today. Divide by 400. Type it in your calculator. Let me grab my calculator. 31,680. Oh my gosh, big number. 31,680 divided by 400. How many years is it going to take, y'all? What'd you guys get? Calculators, mount up. What do you got? Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Dun. Mariana, you got it. Greg, you got it. What do you got? What's 31,680 divided by 40 or 400? Excuse me. 79.2, and that is in years because it's 400 feet per year. Perfect. So we got distance equals rate times time. There's information in that sentence or in that little short paragraph that will tell you what you're looking for. Okay? When you're looking to see what you're solving for, look at the question mark. They usually say how long, what speed, and so on and so forth. I got one more, guys. You're almost done. Last one. We'll just do one for today. Charles Peacock can afford enough fencing to enclose a rectangular garden with a perimeter of 140 feet. The width of his garden must be 30 feet. Find the length. Okay, I'm a visual person and you guys are too. I'm guessing you see that we are doing a garden here. Nice rectangular garden. So let me draw a little rectangle for you. We got lengths. Those are my L's, and we got widths. Now, they talked about the perimeter. Perimeter is the distance around the object. You know, perimeter is adding up your two L's and your two W's. So add them up. W plus W is 2W, L plus L is 2L. So that's our perimeter. Well, they told us our perimeter was 140 feet. So we know P is 140. And they told us the width of the garden must be 30 feet. So this guy here has to be 30. So we can plug that in. So far, so good? All right, so I've got 140 equals 2L, and then 2 times 30 we know is 60. All right, let's solve it. The faster we solve it, the faster we get out of here. What's the first thing we can do? Subtract the 60. Boom. 140 minus 60 is 80. And then I have one more step. How do I get that L by itself? Oh, now you guys are answering quick. Oh my gosh. So find the length. The length is 80, excuse me. 80 what? 80 inches, 80 chickens, 80 feet.
Wait, what? 80?
Or excuse me, 40. I don't know, I wrote 80. Sorry about that. Good eye, good eye. 80 divided by 2 is 40. 40 feet. Just seeing if you guys were awake today. All right, do you guys have any questions? Ladies and gentlemen, you guys have some homework for chapter 2.5. If I share